is
Zaza.
Oh, yeah.
Fitzy and
Sweet as.
Wippa.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. We're back. Had a couple of weeks off. I just had to, I put in my resignation 2 weeks, so this is my final day.
You're under contract. Yeah, you got to stay with me, which is good news. It's been 11 years now. How's everyone going on holidays, mate? All those photos from Europe. I watched The Godfather for the first time.
did
Great
you
film.
really?
That was my touch of travel.
What, the 50th anniversary got you over the line to finally watch it?
It did. Old mate Sonny died the other day, who was the oldest son in The Godfather. If you're after some...
James Caan.
Yeah, is that his name?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, good on you, James.
Well
Thanks
done.
for your contribution to the film, the acting world and the on-screen performance. So, a review of The Godfather this morning. A review of The Godfather on this podcast.
It's not, no, there's no review
Well done, Whip.
on the podcast.
Good job,
at all.
mate. Any other movie questions for me?
No, I want to talk about our trip away. We went away with the family, went to Disneyland for the first time, but we had a howler with the rental car. And let's be honest, you don't look after rental cars, do
No.
you? You got to listen out for our rental car story coming up.
The Fitzy and Wippa podcast.
Can I fill you guys in on the Fitzgerald trip away for the first time ever?
Oh, mate, that's awesome. And I'd also like to say, too, for anybody that didn't go anywhere, says that might be you as well. I just hope that everybody, all my friends on Instagram had a great time in the States and in Europe and in Italy and France. It looked so good from here.
Well, can I just say, and I on my Instagram account, I did a big shout out to Mick and Claire Fitzgerald, my parents, who promised my sister Holly and I for such a long time that one day we will promise you that you will go to Disneyland.
Oh, yeah.
And we never did.
Okay.
So I rubbed it in and rang them as soon as we got there. So this was the first time. I mean, we booked this in a few years ago, and obviously with the pandemic, we finally got to Disneyland. And can I just say, you know, with reviews and everyone raving about it, you sometimes, I mean, it could be someone that, you know, that you look up to and or an inspiration or a hero. Sometimes you meet them and it's just not what it turns out to be. Disneyland is everything that it's...
Is it?
Everybody talks about.
It's the dream.
The detail that place goes into and the money that they've spent on that place. Like they one of their newest rides, the Star Wars ride, they've spent $1 billion on one ride.
Jeez.
Like, it's crazy.
So when you walk in the door, this is what I'm picturing, because you see the castle and everything, and I've always dreamt about going there. I've never been there.
Yeah.
When you walk in there, is Mickey there and Minnie and
Yes.
Pluto and
Yep.
there's dancers
They're
and...
just dancing around. But it's all the old school. So you've got the old Disneyland that Walt built, you know,
Yeah,
all the
the
way
castle.
back then, and they've just modernised. Well, they haven't modernised it, but they've just kept it nice and clean. The staff there are amazing. Like, it's just... And we were lucky enough to have... We had a tour guide. So you basically get a history of Disneyland the whole time you're there, and they give you...
Give me a fun fact.
Well, it's little weird things, because I've told you about this before, but you know the colour, that certain colour green
Yeah.
that they paint everything, that then camouflages into Disneyland, so you don't see speakers and stuff like that because they're painted
Yes.
a certain colour green. But even little things, right? Like, we went past Iron Man's warehouse, and she goes, come over here, here's a little Easter egg for you. She goes, have a look, there's 3 trees here, and because this is Iron Man's warehouse, there's radiation that's coming out of this little pipe here. She goes, have a look at the trees, and where the radiation comes out, the tree in the middle was 3 times as big as the other 2 trees either side of it. And these are the little details
Hang on,
that
are they
go to.
legitimate trees?
No, it's just part of the Iron Man story.
So there's radiation flooding out of a pipe in Disneyland.
No, but they weren't-
Stop everyone!
But they were real trees. But see, this is what they do. They actually grew a bigger tree
Sure.
right in the middle of the 2 others around it.
Okay.
And these are the little Easter eggs that we got going around Disneyland.
I get it.
It was an amazing day. Like, I mean, we went on 18 rides, Sarah. I only went on 16 because I was crook as a dog.
Week. I saw that. Did you vomit?
Mate, I
Did you have a Chris Mew, did you?
brought up a hot dog.
Oh, no, footlong.
Yeah.
Really?
Do you know what the rides...
Dog and a chili dog with ham.
Do you know what the new rides are now?
Yeah.
It's not like they've got an amazing roller coaster. The Incredibles roller coaster is amazing, but you know what it is? You sit in a room and the room moves,
yeah.
and it's a huge screen.
Yep.
So you actually feel like you're on a roller coaster, but you're watching a screen.
Oh.
Mate, it was horrific. I was, in the end, I said to the kids, Dad can't go anymore because I've had enough. Like, I can't do anymore. So anyway, we have this huge day. I get sucked in. I buy friggin' $200 lightsabers by the kids.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, Sarah.
You could have got them for us.
Didn't think about that,
okay.
trying to get that back on the plane home. 2 huge lightsabers. Imagine trying to get that through customs. And then, okay, so as we're leaving, right? No, all right, I've got to tell you, this was at the start of the day. So we rock up in the car and we're so excited as a family. This is the first time we've been to Disneyland. So we get into the car park and I drive straight through and there's like 5 different boom gates because the car park's massive at Disneyland. And I drive through and I've realised I haven't even got a ticket. And the boom gate that I went into was up. So I drive through and I stop and I go, geez, I've got to get a ticket so I can get back out. So I drive through, stop, reverse, and the boom gates come down. I've reversed and broken the boom gate, right? And I've put a huge dent in the rental car.
Oh, Mickey Mouse's boom goat.
So where I grew up, when you do something like that, what you usually do is you chuck it back into first and you just take off.
See you later.
That's what I did. So I took off, Sarah, broke the boom gate, put a dent in the rental car, parked the car all day. We had one of the best days of our lives. Get back. Dad has to do stealth and follow another family out.
Oh, no. While
Right?
the boom gate's up.
So I didn't have to pay for the car park because I didn't have a ticket.
Well, you spent $200 on lightsabers.
I went right up this guy's bum. He stops afterwards and goes, mate, you got to pay for your ticket. I said, just hurry up, drive off, and we get out. Then at the end of the trip, I go to the rental car, and because it was right at the back of the car, as the guy came over to check out the car, I lift up the boot. So the boot is up. He can't see the dent. And I'm having a great conversation with him going, mate, we went to Disneyland. It changed our lives, mate. It was awesome. And this car, your cars are some of the best cars I've ever driven in my life.
Why are you showing me the boot?
You should be proud of yourself. I mean, that guy's been there for 50 years and he hates his job.
Why is the boot open?
Yeah, why is the boot open? Got away with it. And I thought to myself, imagine how many people would stuff up a rental car and did you get away with it?
Can I just get you to shut the boot? It looks like there's a boom gate mark on the back here where there's this tinted panel.
Well, there's half a boom gate hanging out the back of the car. Jason in Padstow's given us a call. What happened with your rental car, Jace?
Hey guys, good morning.
Morning,
My
Jace.
partner had an accident in her car, so we had to get a rental. She was backing out of the driveway, didn't realise it had the back door open.
Yeah.
And she backed us straight into the brick wall. Ripped the door. Yeah, she ripped the door off.
Rip the door off.
Ripped the door off. So I went and bought a cheap door and got the panel beater to fit it back on.
You went and bought a
used.
cheap door
Yeah.
and got it replaced.
Jace,
Never heard of anything like it in my life.
the question is, son, did you get away with it with the rental?
I did. But the funny thing is the door was slightly different colour to the car.
You're funny,
I
that.
didn't pick up on it.
They didn't pick up on it.
Well done, Jace.
Outstanding work.
This is what I want to do. What did you do to a rental car and what did you get away with? Do you know what? Travel stress can take a hike.
With lots of fully refundable hotels, whatif.com has got you covered.
Just remember, booking cancellation windows apply.
So go and relax and book your next trip with confidence at whatif.com.
What if? It's Aussie for travel. What have you done in a rental car, Jared, in Panania? What happened, Jared?
So I'd just ridden off my car when I was 21.
Yep.
And I got a rental from Right to Drive.
Yep.
And I was on a job site in a tight driveway, and there was all rock. There was a rock face on the right-hand side of me, and I happened to scrape the right-hand back side of it all up against the rocks.
Okay.
You're not getting that. There's no way you could get away with a scratch that back in the back of the car. You can't get away with that, Jared.
No, there was a few. There was about three. It was when you can scratch it and you can actually kind of rub the surface damage off.
Yep.
And it makes it look a lot better. So that was the case. And then I went down to the chemist and got myself some nail polish that actually suited the colour.
Genius.
And just painted it over and sent it back and got away with it.
Well done,
Brilliant.
son.
Well done,
done,
Jared. Well played.
It's a big win for everyone, isn't it? I mean, they make a lot of money from rental cars.
But it's amazing how you drive a rental car. I mean, you drive it like you've stolen it.
Yeah.
And it's always like, oh, come on, guys, we're in a rental. Doesn't matter, mate, we're in a rental. Come on.
Zach in Rouse Hill, what happened with your rental car? Zach, you there, Zach?
No, hold Zach.
We'll come back.
What
to
about Scotty?
Scotty in Hobartville, what did you get up to in your rental?
Welcome back, guys.
Thanks, Scotty.
So we used to go racing a fair bit, and we went over to WA and we rung up the rental car company and said, we need a manual Commodore, blah, 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 just so we could have a spare gearbox in case we blew it. Sure enough, we blew it and swapped it out with a rental car and gave it back a blown third gear.
Scotty, did they know, or did you just hope for the best?
No, well, if they're test driving around the car park, you're only going to get first and second.
Oh wow, you blew it completely.
If you're blowing out gearboxes, I can only imagine what you boys are doing in that car, Scotty.
I could go on for weeks about rental cars. I don't think we've got the time.
Never rent a car to Scotty. That is a word of advice for any rental mob out there.
We had this big hill where we grew up. It's called the Big Dipper, and it was if you got enough speed, you go over the top, and you would get airborne.
Wow!
And we had a bloke from school that said, if anyone wants an insurance job, give me your car. And I'm not joking. He could mid-air. He could then change gears from fourth back into reverse. This is mid-air, so when the car hit the ground, it was then in reverse, and it would just absolutely annihilate the car.
Did you get the insurance on it?
It's your insurance job done.
Thanks, buddy.
You're on the Fitzy and Wippa podcast.
The census data has come out and revealed the divorce rate hotspots of Sydney. So we're going to go through the suburbs now where there's been quite a bit of divorce. This is quite sad, though, because I didn't know this, but, statewide, the census figure shows that 596,000 couples registered as divorced last year. That's just last year.
How many?
596,000 couples?
I thought it would be higher.
That can't be right.
Isn't it meant to be 50% these days, or are we running 60-40?
Well, they're saying, obviously, with the pandemic over the last couple of years has contributed to this.
Yeah, you had to spend time with your partner.
Well, this is the
It's
thing.
like a long Christmas.
Let's go through the top 10. Bayside comes in. 6.6% of couples will get a divorce in Bayside. In Penrith, 6.7%. Coming in at number 8, Canterbury Bankstown is 6.7%. Number 7 is the Northern Beaches.
Really?
So if you're up in the Northern Beaches, there's high chance that you will get a divorce.
Too many hot people.
Congratulations, Fitzy. You come in at number 6 with the Inner West.
Oh, well done.
Inner West is broad, though. That's a huge...
Don't try and dodge it, mate.
I mean, that's not a suburb, Inner West.
You're in the catchment area.
That's numerous
You
suburbs.
are there. Sarah is there. You guys are gone.
I suppose that's the same as number 5, the city of Sydney. If you're living in an apartment in Sydney and you're going to get married, highly likely that you're going to get divorced very soon. Coming in at number 4 is Wallara.
Yep.
Fairfield out west comes in at number 3. Congratulations, you get the bronze. Number 2 is Mossman, 7.7. Mm-hmm. And number 1...
What do you got?
8.8% wins quite easily. The hot spot in Sydney where you will get a divorce is North Sydney.
North Sydney.
I'm just spewing that Tom Ivey isn't here today.
No. 13 24 10 if you are from North Sydney or one of these divorce areas. My God, have you got divorced recently? I suppose the areas that are not on the list are just better at not getting caught.
Well, this is the thing. That's
Are they the smarter areas?
That's what I was thinking. There's no one down south too. Matty de Groot, you avoid this. You've
Well done, Matty.
The Sutherland Shire came in at number 12.
Oh, mate, we're fine.
Honestly disappointed.
Yeah.
So you would think a beachside suburb, those beachside suburbs where people get their rigs out a fair bit more.
That's what it is.
It's where it's going to happen.
Do you know what because they blame a lot of COVID to this and the pandemic and stuff, but they said in the story here, there's also a flow-on effect from COVID where people are reevaluating their lives and more willing to focus on their well-being. You only have to look at the Pilates studios on the North Shore to see that.
Here we go.
They're heaving.
Yeah.
I've taken up Pilates and
Changed your life?
changed my life.
Has it really?
100%. It's the best thing
Yeah,
you
but
can
you've
do.
got to be good at it, MDG. Like, I did Reformer for about, 4 months. There was no reforming going on for me. But I didn't have the technique to be able to do what they were doing in the class, and I couldn't get it right, and therefore I gave up because I felt like I wasn't part of the team.
But see, it's the same.
You know
with
what I mean?
You're not good at anything.
What do you mean I'm not good at anything?
You need time.
I'm an animal.
Don't give up early, mate. If you give it a month,
I gave it 4 months.
You will see the benefits.
Do you know what, MDG, just for you to say that it's because these beachside areas that people are getting their rig out, I mean, you're suggesting that obviously people are cheating, right? And that's obviously a popular cause for divorce. So if I was in a situation where Lisa had a look at my body, right, and she suggested we move somewhere more beachside, that's so I would get my rig out and our relationship wouldn't be under threat?
I think
Is that what you're saying?
I see how you flipped it.
Yeah.
I think she's the risk of straying because she'll be looking at other rigs.
That's right.
Her concern isn't that you're the high risk partner in the relationship.
What did she say to me yesterday? Oh, God, you must be looking forward to getting back into some sort of physical routine after 2 weeks off. What's physical routine mean?
Well, you do have a full gym in your house, mate. You never use it.
I read fat. That's how I spelt routine there. FAT.
The Fitzy and Wippa podcast.
Tell you who's been on fire, our mate Joe Biden. He's had a great Ron Burgundy moment. You've got to have a listen to this because he's reading off the teleprompter. And of course, when you're a president like that and you're making speeches, there's added parts into your speech, right? Yes. So to inform you of where you're up to in your speech. Have a listen to him, not realising that you're not meant to read that part out.
It is noteworthy that the percentage of women who register to vote and cast a ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line. Women are not without electoral and or political or maybe precise, not and or political power.
End of quote. Repeat the line.
Burgundy?
How good is that?
End of quote. Repeat the line.
He was just warming up too. How's this? Because America can be summed up in one single word.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
Well, mate, I reckon you did that a couple of times when we did 20 to 1. Remember with the teleprompter?
Teleprompter.
Yeah, and you would end sometimes and you'd do a joke or a punchline and you would end with end of quote.
End of quote. Laugh, pause, wait for reaction. But what will be tonight's number one?
Oh, Joe. He's just reading it. That's all he needs to do.
The Fitzy and Wippa podcast.
Lights, camera, clarity.
Ooh, Sarah.
So the top trending stories in entertainment this morning, guys. Pop star Shawn Mendes has shocked fans by pulling the pin on his ongoing world tour. He posted a lengthy statement on Instagram about his personal struggles, saying he's been touring since he was 15, and to be honest, it's always been difficult being away from family and friends, and I just need to put my mental health first.
Yeah, fair enough.
I get it.
Fair enough. Sarah, is he booked in to come to Australia at the end of the year?
Yeah, well, he was supposed to be touring until August 2023, so we're talking a long time. He's not said anything about rescheduling, but yeah, I presume that includes us. He's just said, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it right now.
Yeah,
okay.
And that's fair enough. That's fair enough. He might not come back, though, Sarah. That's
working
the
too
thing.
hard.
I know, it makes you sad, doesn't it? Guys, Cameron Diaz has recalled a time when this was right before she got employed in her big breakthrough film, The Mask, obviously. And before she got that role, she moved to Paris because she was a model, and we all sort of forget this, that she was a model before she was an actress. But she'd put her hand up for pretty much anything. So she's moved to Paris. She's like, I'm here. I'll do anything for work. And she's recalled in this story, it's pretty funny, about how she was actually used, she thinks, as a drug mule because someone gave her a bag and asked her to take it.
Oh, gosh.
They gave me a suitcase that was locked that had my costumes in it, quote unquote, air quotes. And when I got there, the guy was like, whose suitcase is this? Can somebody open it? And I was like, literally, all the calculations in my head went running back of like, what the is in that suitcase? I'm like this blonde hair, blue-eyed girl in Morocco. It's the 90s. I'm wearing torn jeans and platform boots and like my hair down. And it's like, I'm like, this is really unsafe. I was like, I don't know. It's not mine. I have no idea whose it is. That was my only job I ever got in Paris.
Is that right? Is that right? Cameron Diaz stars in The Mule, where I'm just myself as a younger person.
You can imagine her getting bailed up at customs. I mean, looking as innocent as she does, but hey, whose bag is this? I don't know.
I don't know.
Actually,
I'm
and
so
just
sorry.
walking off. Good on her for cluing to it. Finally, guys, this was exciting. So last week we had the great news that friend of the show, Sam Frost, was engaged.
Oh, yeah, great.
Didn't see this one coming. Yeah, only been together 5 months.
So on Frosty, though, says, that is the guy, I've forgotten his name, he was on...
Geordie Hansen.
Survivor.
Well, he's gone now for 5 months of filming. He'll be in the next Australian Survivor.
Right.
Sorry, he will have been on it before, but the next one is Heroes and Villains.
Sure.
Repeat offenders.
Okay.
So he's now gone to do that. But that was exciting. Even more so, though, was the news that broke overnight about Jessica Malboy is married.
Oh,
congratulations, Jess and Them. Every time we get Jess in, Sarah, how many times do you reckon we've asked her when the wedding is?
Tell Them all about it.
She's been so good at keeping that quiet.
Well, the two of them, so they've been together 13 years, and then on the weekend, I mean, they're saying it was just a small thing, but they were in Darwin.
Yeah.
There was ceremony on the beachfront and then reception at the Mindle Beach Casino Resort. But 300 guests is not small.
No, that's
Do you know if she got up and performed there? Did she do Pop a Bottle or anything from the Sapphires, or what did she go with?
I can't confirm that, but God, I hope so, because I love seeing her.
Jess Malboy, you're a superstar. Good news, thanks, Says.
You're listening to the Fitzy and Wippa podcast. 2 people enter. Only one leaves.
Let's turn up the heat. And we're on.
60 seconds. On the clock. It's time to play Last Man Standing.
And let's get the party started.
Great adventures start at Anaconda Adventure HQ. They've got in-store experiences that will blow your mind. Now open at Chilora Business Park.
Narelle in Roselands, you want to go camping, Narelle? You need $500.
Yeah, that'd be close because I've never ever been to there, so it's not too far to get to.
Narelle, that'd be awesome. I mean, you need a tent, you want a blow-up mattress. What are you chasing, an esky?
A blow-up mattress, that'd be great. Something nice and warm, a heater.
You'd be a firecracker going camping with Narelle, wouldn't you, around the camp?
I've got my blow-up heater. I can use that.
Oh, blow-up heater. Everything's blow-up for Narelle.
Narelle's blown up.
Actually, Tom's got a few blow-ups as well, but he's not here today to defend himself.
Who?
Troy in Cremorne, you're in need of some new fishing gear, Troy.
Yep. Fellas, ready for a new harbour setup.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Well, you can do that at Anaconda. Narelle's going first. If you get one wrong, Narelle, power goes over to Troy. Whoever has the power at the end of 60 seconds. $500, in you go. Spend it. Narelle, here we go. Your 60 seconds starts now. What are the names of the parents in The Simpsons, Narelle?
Oh, dear. I never watched that show. Bart and...
No, it's Marge and Homer. Over to Troy. Troy, what does the acronym GOAT stand for?
Greatest of all time.
That is correct. True or false? Kangaroos can walk backwards.
That would be false.
That is false, yes. Which former home and away star recently announced her engagement?
I know that one.
No idea.
It's Sam Frost. Narelle, now I'm back to you. Narelle, who is the god of thunder? We just spoke to him.
Chris Hemsworth.
No, it's Thor.
Yeah,
I'll give that to you, Narelle. Which is the only US state to begin with the letter P, Narelle?
Is it Pennsylvania?
Yes. Who sings the hit song Girls Just Want to Have Fun?
Cyndi Lauper.
Yes. What stadium is hosting Game 3 of State of Origin, Narelle?
It doesn't matter, Narelle.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Narelle, you've won it. It doesn't matter. I'm not sure if it's the first time you've heard the game. It's Suncorp was the answer. We didn't need it because the bell went off, and you've won $500 to spend at Anaconda.
Wow, and it's only close to me too. Only a bus journey away.
Yeah, you've already told us that, Narelle. You're well done, love. You are.
I said close.
Yeah, I know. You're a gem.
Narelle.
Stay on the line.
It's like this weather waiting for buses in the rain. You're looking out your door and you get poured on. Terrible.
Narelle, you might need to buy an umbrella at Anaconda.
The Fitzy and Wippa podcast.
Hope everyone had a great holidays. We're back to work after a couple of weeks off. The kids are still on holidays. Puts a bit of pressure on the home unit, I know that much. We didn't do anything significant these holidays, but I tell you what, one of the highlights was going on a hot date with my wife.
Look out.
We decided to get a table for 2, just so we could whisper a few sweet nothings. Yep. I checked in with her. I said, how's it been for you the past 8 years? She smiled. Of course it's been good. Have a look at you. You've won in the biggest of ways.
I don't know what's more romantic for you, though, being there with your wife or a degustation in front of you.
Really good point. I couldn't see her because of the pile of food in front of me. I could see her by the time we hit dessert, and that's because I'd eaten down. about a metre. I just said, keep bringing it. You know when you look at
Just making out with a prawn.
Okay, mate. I didn't get the mud
How
crab.
many times in your life?
All
Nuzzling into a dumpling's neck.
Okay. Do you know what? When you look at a steak, and this is a little bit off topic, but you kind of... It's such a dangerous thing to do at the start of a meal, isn't it? Because you go 250 grams. Oh, it's like a bit bigger than my fist. Well, I'm going to get that in my mouth.
What are you looking? What's your minimum? Are you going 400, 500?
If I can find a 450, I'm happy.
Oh, that's
I'll do a 600 on the bone.
What? T-bone?
The bone's included.
Oh, the old T-bone.
You can throw a bit of mash in with that, and I'm a happy, happy man.
My gosh.
It was heaven.
It's not good the next day, though, let me tell you that.
Yeah, I was a little bit uncomfortable in the car home on the way. I just got sort of sat back. You got to undo your pants a fair bit, and a few shirt buttons on your shirt pop open.
Which was a bit weird for the Uber driver.
Which was Lisa decided to walk. Anyway, here was the most amazing thing that happened. So we get to the end, and I said, "Can we grab the bill, please?" The woman comes over, and people do it. You see it all the time. It's quite polite. When you go to tap your card or put your PIN in, people will turn their back. You know, they'll turn around and give you the space so you've got the privacy to put your PIN in, right?
Yeah.
This woman, she stepped back about 2 metres and turned her back. She then came back after I'd tapped the card, and I said, "Oh, gee, you're polite." And she said, "Yeah, I do that for a reason." And I said, "Well, I was only tapping, so you wouldn't have seen the PIN." And she said, "No, I've got a photographic memory. If I see your card, I'll know your card number."
What? She admits that? You don't tell... I mean, Good Will Hunting never admitted that he had a photographic
This
memory.
girl did. I then said, "All right, I'll challenge you." Because I'm thinking there's how many numbers on a credit card? What do you got? You got 12. Yeah. And I said, there's absolutely no way you're going to be able to recite my credit card. Here's the deal. I'll give you 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Held the card up for 3 seconds. I said, "You got it?" She said, "Give me a go." Nailed it.
Wow.
Nailed the credit card number.
I wonder if
Straight from that, she could memorise and expiry and details. And the little pin on the front, 4-dig.
Like, did you explore more with her and find out if she can remember things like from way back?
Yeah. 132410 too, if you've got a photographic memory. She said it can be the worst thing going around.
Yeah.
Because if you've gone through a traumatic time or a breakup, the flashbacks are so realistic. It's as like you're still there. She said, my mum was in a car accident. Right, and I saw my mum after that in hospital. That image is as clear as the day it happened.
Of course.
So that's the downside.
Can I just say...
I mean, the upside is my credit card number, and she's been on Net-a-Porter, and she's bought a whole lot of stuff. It's been drained. I'm gone.
I mean, the benefits that you have with the photographic memory, is she wasting it being a waitress at a restaurant?
Well, maybe she's warming up.
I mean, couldn't you...
She might go on to do something...
I mean, a photographic memory doesn't help with counting cards at the casino, does it?
I don't know.
I don't think it does. Or you remember it. You will remember every card that comes out of the pack. I know that. You just got to...
But that's a different skill.
You will then have to know what's left remaining.
We spoke to Baz Luhrmann about this because when he was filming Gatsby, he recorded with Jay-Z. Remember Jay-Z did a song for Gatsby?
Yeah.
And we were talking about how Jay-Z gets his song down and how he raps. And he said, yeah, he's got a photographic memory. So Jay-Z can jot down a few lyrics at home, then take a snapshot in his brain and be able to go in front of the microphone. Bang. Just rips it out, man.
He's putting a bit of icing on that.
No, I mean,
he's written the lyrics. Of course he's going to remember them.
No, you wouldn't remember them. Those songs go forever.
We caught a Qantas flight a couple of years ago, and as we were going off, the flight attendant, she said everybody's name as they were walking off. Yep. And we're like, God, how do you do that? That's amazing. She's like, well, I've got a photographic memory, and so as soon as I see the flight card, I know exactly who's on the flight and exactly where they're sitting. And sometimes I'll say their names as I'm handing out the towels and the whatnot. But she said the thing is, people get angry fairly often because they think it's an invasion of privacy.
Of course.
If you know their details.
Yeah.
It's not a politeness thing. And you go...
Oh, no, she's made for hospitality.
Well, I think
that's a gift.
Probably wasting it again, I think, if that's a gift.
Tell me if we're all on the same page here. Because I see a photographic memory as if I'm sitting here in the studio right now, I can capture every detail in this moment.
Yeah, but you
Is that how you see it?
Yeah, but it's boring. I mean, what are you going to remember that for? Could she be a detective? That's what I'm thinking, or a forensic scientist, or something like that, where she remembers everything in the room.
Can you upload those photos when you get back to the office? Don't need to. Ask me a question.
Well, what about getting into sports commentary, or imagine remembering every player and every statistic.
Well, you remember with the Bourne movies, and they were saying like to get to that tier of spy, you've got to be able to walk into a room, open a fridge, know exactly what's in there, and you train your brain to do it.
Wow.
But if you're just the kind of person that sees it, you're wasted if you're not in the CIA.
Oh, let's open this up. 13, 24, 10. If you've got a photographic memory,
that's what they're doing.
Or something similar to it. Like, we want to hear from you.
The Fitzy and Wippa podcast.
Oh, sorry, mate. I was just taking a photo with my mind.
Oh, my gosh.
Just, snap. Yeah, I'll change lenses for that.
It's a bit sick, though, because you're looking at Sarah at the same time.
Sorry about that, Sarah. Just taking and putting together a photo book in my mind of you, actually. I'm going to hit play on a slideshow.
Hold up. Wippa, you only a few weeks ago told us you can't remember people because
you
have
anything.
a disorder where you can't remember faces.
You know, Dr.
So how have you now got that?
You know, Dr. Carl, the scientist, the guy with the bad shirts, he has that condition where he can't remember anybody's name, and I think it's starting to hit me. It's called facial blindness. Is that right, Jess? She's holding up the whiteboard. It's called facial blindness.
Yeah.
I've got that. I don't know who anybody is anymore. Like, I see somebody I've met and I go, I'm blind, I'm gone.
Well, we do that with you all the time.
What do you mean?
Here in the office.
I thought you were just pretending.
I must have facial blindness when you walk in.
Lady at the restaurant, she was able to recite my credit card number. She had a photographic memory. It's phenomenal. Now dangerous.
Fatini's given us a call from Bankstown. What did you use your photographic memory for, Fatini?
I used to use... Hi, how are you, Fitzy Wippa?
Yeah, really strong, Fitzy.
Really good.
Really hanging in there.
I used to use it for high school tests.
Did you?
Yeah, I used to photographically remember everything on the page that I used to write.
Oh, my God.
Especially like in science.
Yeah.
And when it was a question and answer test, I used to ace them. But when it came to multiple choice, I used to get average because I couldn't remember.
Of course.
Does that make sense?
And
sure.
You had multiple options. Any other areas that it's beneficial for, Fatini?
Look, you know how you said that with photographic memory, an image will remain. Unfortunately, image remains for myself.
Yes.
When my ex-husband left me with a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old, and my 2-year-old was standing at the front door screen as he left for his second birthday, and I've got that image printed in my head for now it's been 24 years.
Oh, my God. So it's a shame you can't Photoshop that photographic memory.
Yeah, exactly. I wish I could. And then I used to use it. I used to work at Bondi Junction in Cosmopolitan Cafe when I first was about 19. And my memory wasn't just photographic back then. I used to remember, I don't know if you remember the old days, we used to have froth on our cappuccinos.
Yeah.
And the more froth you had was the best. Well, I used to have 5 waitresses. I used to have to remember their orders.
Oh, my God.
We didn't have time. I used to make the coffees. We didn't have time to even look at their orders.
Wow, you just knew it.
I just knew it because back then there wasn't almond milk, soya milk. It was just cap, latte, you know what I mean?
Froth, get the froth
Pure
on
black,
Yeah.
flat white.
Oh, well, yeah, I
You're
get
a
it.
superhero.
The power of Fatini. Thanks for calling through.
Christy from Abbey Park, what did you use your photographic memory for?
Hi, I'm a nurse, and so I can remember every patient that I've ever had and what they've had wrong with them and what they look like every day and all their family. Yeah, it's pretty...
So you're able, Christy, if you bumped into somebody down the street, you could go, I remember their name, and God, when they first came in with this injury, we gave them 15 ml of pethidine.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Is it a burden, though, Christy, sometimes?
It is sometimes if I can't quite work out exactly, if I've had a patient from quite a few years ago and I know if they're in a room with other patients and I know exactly what other patients were there, they've maybe come in a few times and I'm like, no, this happened on this other time, and I can't leave it alone. I've got to kind of go back and work it out.
Yeah,
but I can't remember any written information.
Christy,
it's only physical.
It's physical.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, facial recognition is becoming such a big thing around the world now, Christy. I mean, you could get into that area.
Yeah.
Head over to China, are you thinking?
Mate, there are people that are gifted. I'm not joking. The governments use people,
They
right?
do, to identify people.
And all they need to see is somebody's eyes, and they can recognise them and identify that person just by their eyes.
They could ruin a lot of movies, couldn't they?
That's crazy.
Because the murderer would be caught instantly. Reese, welcome to the show. Now, you're a psychic. You've been on the show before, Reese. You've got a
good morning. Welcome back.
Thanks, Reese. You've got a photographic memory?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, look, it kind of comes with the territory, and I've just been listening in on a few other people and just thinking about it even further. It's very heavily tied into trauma. With a lot of people, I noticed you mentioned the last caller was a nurse, for example. So certain situations will trigger people to remember certain things. Me, it is a blessing and a curse. Why is it a curse? Because people have such high expectations of me.
Good question.
As a result of me always remembering things. People, for example, my mum daily will say things like, "Oh, why?" She won't say it. She'll just expect me to remember things.
So true.
So, other people would get away with not remembering.
And Reese, you also said to us off air that you're amazing at remembering your clients' credit card details down the track.
You're absolutely right there. Why do you think I'm so filthy rich?
Haven't forgotten where that transaction button is, have you?
No, not at all. Not at all. No. And what you were saying just before, it's funny, you were saying about the governments and things like that's always been one of my irrational fears.
Yes.
That I'm going to get taken away by some weird department, some Stranger Things department of the government.
Yes.
And experimented upon, because you're exactly right. I can look at someone's face, and I do know a lot.
Well, Reese,
as I look at your face.
We've got to give Reese a job here at Nova.
Yeah, he's got the job.
Just to recognise all the employees around here.
That would be awesome.
I can't remember them.
All right, Reese, who's this? Sales, desk 3, Wayne.
I don't even know who that guy. Who's that guy in the traffic booth?
That's magical.
Miss any of the show? Catch up with the podcast. Download the Nova Player now
Macca.
via the App Store or Google Play.
You're right, Macca. Macca's first day on the panel, and he has exploded.
Can I just
he
say,
was doing so well.
Macca has been on fire today. You've done such a good job until you let off the explosion at the end, mate.
Oh, my God, Macca. The house is
so sorry.
You burnt the house down, mate.
I don't know about that. I think he was just like, I think the show's peaked, fellas. I'm out.
So your job is to wind us up. We didn't know about this instruction, Macca.
Very weird way to wind up the show, Macca.
I was about to tell you guys Sebastian's coming on the show this week.
Oh, well done.
Oh, my God.
The Fitzy and Wippa Show is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.